the Pod Network Entertainment.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed.
Welcome to the big time!
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the star.
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles, and you are listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You are watching and listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and Chino Liao all checking in. Lahat kami, wala rin kaming access sa mga confidential funds and malapit ng payday. So it would be nice na makaambon ng konting confidential and non-confidential funds. So we hope that everybody is safe and dry and healthy because the weather has just been very, very wild in the worst way. And thank you to everybody who's making time to catch the podcast right now, whether you're listening or you're watching along, despite the wild, wild weather. We have a lot of thank yous to get to. Let's start off with thank you to everybody who went to quiz night. Our grand champion, Glendale, is actually in the chat. So congrats to you, Glendale. Thank you to everybody who came over, everybody who marked out, who did the thing.
For all the swag that Glendale walked away with. Thank you to all our sponsors for that night. Syempre, yung Everybody Toys, yung sila Dwayne, who was there representing with his shirts. Thank you then to Hobby Stadium for all the amazing, the venue first of all, and the swag they also gave away. People walked away with a blaster pack of WWE cards as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you as well to Hobbyline Toy Store. Chino, how can you forget? They gave us the grand prize. Sensational Sherry action figure.
Hobbyline with the hookup of the sensational Sherry figure. Sorry. Thank you to them as well.
And then, kumpletuhin natin yung pangalan ng Everybody's Toys and Collectibles because we're about to partner with them on something that we're really excited about, and we'll be sharing all of the details with you kapag kasada na. So, we're really excited to get that hookup started. Let's tell you about some stuff going on here on the Wrestling Podcast. Syempre, we've got the Patreon. That's where we're actually doing our watch party for NXT No Mercy. That is happening on Sunday, Manila time, right before the MWF taping. So, Ro, tell them all about it.
Yes, sir. We got NXT No Mercy happening on Sunday morning. That is October 1, Manila time. Online lang to kasi syempre nobody's asked for an NXT watch party just yet. But, you know, if you guys want to, I mean, like somewhere down the line, we'll definitely consider it for an on-ground, in-person venue and event. Pero for now, you can join this watch party by subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/wrestling podcast. For only $5 or around 275 pesos. That is now sadly like the average amount of money you'll spend for a grab order. So, you know, if you want to support us, if you like what we do here on the podcast and you want to, keep it going a little bit by sending us some money our way, this is the best way to do it. Other than appearing at our events and participating in quiz night and watch parties. So all of that helps us do what we do here. But when you do sign up for the Patreon, you get access to our Discord community where we talk a lot every day about wrestling, about video games. We got Mortal Kombat talk, got sports talk, NBA talk. Big news drop today. A lot of people got a lot of takes about that, and just general vibe and camaraderie of our community. We also have preferential rates for our pasabays with one batch happening right now. Thank you very much, baby face producer Jasper. If you're a patron, you have really good rates on the service fees that we charge for these pasabays. So it's an added expense, pero syempre, you do get a lot of the final payment when you sign up for Patreon. yun pa lang ang exclusives right now. But syempre, with more, with more of our endeavors happening eventually, you get a lot more benefits other than, supporting the podcast that you love and the community that you love. So again, patreon.com/wrestling podcast for as low as $5.
All right. Jasper, can we show the slide again for the pasabay? Just reminding everyone again, since it is payday, magkakapera tayo. So we hope that if you have a little bit extra that you can spare for yourself, diba? Give yourself the gift of wrestling merch. Ito, I'm wearing a legit Eddie Guerrero I'm Your Papi t-shirt.
Kung may confidential funds kayo dyan, baka gusto nyo gastusin sa belt, diba? Or sa legit WWE
Well, somebody's
merch.
already asking.
Oh, actually, we got an inquiry about a replica belt
yeah.
na ipapabili nila through the pasabay service. So we do serve even those types of inquiries, pati mga big framed items na I myself have actually bought from WWE Shop. So again, this is all from the legit wrestling stores, WWE Shop, Pro Wrestling Tees, Shop AEW. If you want to buy from like Roots of Fight or the other stores like Suplex Apparel, lahat yun, pwede natin gawa ng paraan, all right? So just send us a message over on facebook.com/wrestling podcast, because this batch closes 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night, Friday, and then by Saturday, I'll punch in the orders, probably while watching SmackDown. And then, it'll be the waiting game in the best way, kasi within about a month, based on past the most recent pasabay batch, nakuha na natin yung merch, diba? So it's not really that much of a wait when you do your pasabays through the wrestling podcast.
Yeah. A couple of things. Nagkamali ako dito sa graphic ito. It's 11:59 p.m. on September 29th. That's tomorrow, Friday. So, when the clock strikes midnight on the 30th on Saturday, wala na. Kasado na. One more thing. Yes, it's payday, pero you don't have to spend all that money on the orders just this weekend, kasi when they arrive next month, which we timed it to be around payday na rin, that's when you pay for the orders, and syempre, I'm sure, or we're sure, that you have some cash in your pocket by that time.
Yeah. So again, if you're a patron, you get the preferential rates, and if you're not a patron, well, you can still be part of the pasabay run. Kailangan nyo lang mag down payment, syempre, para ma-confirm natin yung order ninyo. All right? Thank you very much, babyface producer Jasper. Let's get to some wrestling talk. And we're going to start with a big piece of news that landed on our shores. Ito yung equivalent natin of the Damian Lillard trade, except in wrestling, it's someone jumping ship from one big team to another. Jade Cargill to WWE.
It is official.
So this one was dropped by ESPN, I believe Tuesday morning, nung nagising tayo, diba? We all woke up to the news that Jade Cargill has indeed joined the WWE, following in the footsteps of Cody Rhodes. Chino, how big of an acquisition is Jade Cargill for WWE?
Huge. She went undefeated in AEW. Di ko alam kung magandang reason yon, but if anything, physically, Jade Cargill is a draw. She looks good. She knows how to act the part. It's an addition to their roster, and matatesting din lalo si Jade, considering how we know from AEW's history that women haven't been given a fair shot of TV time and match time. So this time around in the WWE, Jade will really be put in deep waters.
Ikaw, Ro, does this move the needle for you?
Yes, for sure. I'm a big Jade fan. I obviously we all know why this is a big deal, because if WWE is already touting this as a big deal, they're putting out press releases, they're dropping the news via ESPN. How big of a deal they consider this to be. I just wanted to point out, now some haters will be there because Jade is inexperienced. She's literally 3 or 4 years in the business, and she wasn't quite the same as the more experienced wrestlers in the women's division of AEW that they hired. But the thing about that is, if everyone else, if the people that matter look at Jade Cargill and think that she is a big deal, she is a blue chip prospect, even though she's not your independent wrestling veteran or whatever, that because she is a phenomenal athlete, she's a professional basketball player, former basketball player, and a professional softball player. This is a big deal, and the people that matter look at her as a big deal, and that's all that matters. Kasi if they didn't see anything there, then they wouldn't have gone through all this trouble. So haters can hate all they want, but this woman, is literally a lot better than everyone who is spewing hate on her. Kasi, imagine if she can do, like, if you saw her last match, I picked that as a pick of the week a couple of weeks ago. If you saw her last match and thought that she was good and in this experience level, and the fact that she wasn't trained like they were trained at the performance center, imagine what she can do with the performance center training. So yun ang pinaka nilook forward ko.
Chino, name change. Jada Parker, possible, or should WWE even try?
I think it comes with the territory. Anytime they get a prospect, laging pumapasok yan sa conversation, and it's nothing new for me. Ang sa akin lang is if they do end up changing her name, sana hindi nila din palitan yung pedigree niya and all that she brings to the table. I know official social media platforms ng WWE build her as Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
I saw it on TikTok at least. So baka hindi nila palitan, right? Because why would they do that if they were going to change her name in the end? So sa akin lang, if they're going to change the name to Jada Parker or whatever, wag nilang kalimutan na Jade Cargill also has lineage to draw from. Yung tenure niya sa AEW to draw from.
Yeah, but it also happened with Io Sky, diba? She was Io Shirai for a long time in NXT, and then that got changed. When Devitt got signed, he became Finn Balor. So not everyone gets a Samoa Joe or AJ Styles treatment.
I think the thing here is that tama si Chino. They already came out with all this press and all this exposure calling her by her real name. So I don't think if there was something different there, they would have come out and called her that already. But I'm sure, yeah, you're right. There could be an Io Sky thing happening here. Pero I think they're also aware that American audiences and global audiences na rin, because of AEW's reach na rin, alam na nila na, okay, this is Jade Cargill. You're never gonna change Jade Cargill. Yes, there was Io Shirai, but it is still what it is here. So I think it would also be stupid. I don't think they want that smoke of people complaining about, oh, you changed your name again. I think they're wise to avoid it then, kasi yun nga, she's already a known entity. And to do that would be to revise history unnecessarily.
Okay, where do you guys think she's going? NXT or diretso main roster?
Okay, I say NXT because number one, yun nga, kailangan din yun ng training. And we all stated it na hindi pa siya ganun kababad sa women's division with what has happened in AEW. Most of her matches have been squash matches after all, to pad those numbers up. I would love to see her in NXT for that reason, and also because I believe NXT needs a star persona in that female roster. We have Becky and Tiffany Stratton at the top, but nobody else really underneath. Diba? Parang no name draw right there. They even had to pull Becky Lynch from the main roster para lang ibalik doon. I believe with Jade Cargill, they might have something there.
Ikaw, Ro, the argument for the main roster.
I think they need her to be on the main roster. Like, yes, NXT needs ratings. Yes, like people have been shipped to NXT, but also people have been shipped to the main roster. Like, you got AJ Styles, you got the Good Brothers as well. Dominic Mysterio went straight. Parang you can learn all that later. Like Dom learned all that later. If the issue is training at the performance center, you can commute between the performance center and wherever they're doing whichever branch you'll be in, diba? I mean, Byron Saxon does that every week when he comes down to commentate on Level Up. So it's not impossible. And she said mismo na this is the dream. This is where she always wanted to be. So if this is where she always wanted to be, then I think she'll be doing everything she can to to uphold her responsibilities. Whether it's helping drive the ratings ng main roster, and then also putting in the time in Orlando in Performance Center. I think she lives there in Florida. I'm not sure. Pero I think that wouldn't be too hard for her then.
Sige, let's call our shot here. Where does she debut or when does she debut? If sabi mong NXT Chino, No Mercy na ba? Or the last NXT PLE before the year ends? Ikaw, Ro, for the main roster then. Call your shot.
I can see her calling her shot right away dun sa title picture nila. It just adds more fuel to the fire. maybe after the main event, the women's match defense, that might be the main event for that show. So maybe, pero again, it might be premature.
Okay, Ro?
The Raw after Fastlane. Raw needs more top names in the women's division. Lord knows Rhea needs more challengers who are not Nia Jax. So I think yun yung destination. Like, this is the premier spot for a big signing, diba? So yun na yun.
All right. Let us know in the comments where you think Jade Cargill will make her debut. I see a lot of people saying that Royal Rumble, diretso na main roster. So that should be interesting once Miss Cargill makes an impact in WWE. All right, let's get some more news from outside the ring. We got this right after we went off the air last week. SmackDown will be leaving the Fox network by 2024, and it will move to the USA network, which is part of the NBC Universal network of companies. What does this mean for WWE's programming? It actually means that Raw and NXT are apparently on their way out of the USA network. So maybe WWE is shopping around these properties, trying to see kung anong TV station, TV network, or streaming service yung kakagat. So marami mga rumors right now about where WWE is shopping Raw and NXT around. So Ro, as someone who likes looking at the business from this point of view, what do you make of this?
First, we have to mention the fact that NBC USA secured SmackDown for $1.4 billion. So that is huge money. And it's also kind of sad they would have to release people right before they announce that deal. So sayang lang yun. Like, again, one of those things. You have money, so you can support these people. Anyway, I don't know where they're gonna end up kasi matagal pa to. The deals end at around fall 2024, so we got a lot more time. They got a lot more time to do that, to consider, to find a new home. People have been floating around names like Amazon Prime because Amazon Prime has been doing live sports na rin.
Yeah,
definitely not HBO or Max. Definitely not that. They could just go back to Fox, or whatever. It's
switch lang?
Yeah. I mean, there's also like the news or a rumor that Raw could move from Monday nights, but I think that's too much of a jump kasi institution na si Raw on Monday nights, diba?
Another rumor I read is that SmackDown might move away from Friday nights at baka itapat sa Wednesday for Dynamite. So that's the bigger thing to talk about.
Yeah, because if you're moving to a big network like USA, you can't do the Friday night death slot kasi that's the historic time slot and day na people aren't watching kasi for whatever reason they're out on Friday nights, they're going out. Yeah, so that makes sense. Like, I would really love to have. Well, it's tough for us because we're gonna have to watch all that on one day. But Wednesday night SmackDown, all good. Yeah, for the Raw and NXT networks, too early to tell, I think. I don't know who is in need, but it would be nice to I don't think they'll go for a streaming platform because the streaming platform viewership isn't as lucrative as so you have to pay for that. You have to download that. If it's something that you're already subscribed to in general, like Netflix or whatever, but Netflix doesn't do live programming, live broadcasting. Disney Plus, I don't know. Like here, maybe it would be nice to finally have a place to stream Raw on demand. So, yeah, I think those would be interesting things, but I think it will stay on cable TV.
Ikaw, Chino, Wednesday Night Wars between SmackDown and Dynamite. What do you think about that?
I'd love that, first of all. Kasi the WWE tried that with NXT and alam naman natin nangyari doon, diba? Vince thought that NXT was enough. The black and gold was enough to go up against Dynamite. Sadly, that wasn't the case a lot of the time. So now with Triple H, di ko alam who makes the big decisions with this, but with whoever's in charge now, putting their A show, quote unquote, on against the other company's A show might actually be the move here. Para head to head, no more kid gloving it. Moving forward, diba? Your best cow against their best cow, and all that. As far as the networks go, I think we're forgetting also about the super streamer that TKO is planning to do. One of these shows might end up back on there. It would probably be NXT because they have the smaller market And doon naman din nag-start yung NXT dati. But I think it also has something to do with all this moving around from the networks.
Yeah, great point there. Di ko na naisip yung super streamer platform that TKO has been working on. So that's something to keep tabs on and watch out for as we head towards the final year of SmackDown on the Fox network. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about John Cena's surprise tuloy. Surprise tag team partner at Fastlane. Kasi di pa natin alam, di ba? And we're also going to be calling our shot for NXT No Mercy over the weekend. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts on the Pod Network. Let's talk about Fastlane, where we already know one of the main events is going to be John Cena and TBA versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. So, who should be John Cena's partner? Kasi coming out of SmackDown last week, we know that AJ Styles got beaten up, he got taken out, and we also know that LA Knight was supposed to help out John Cena pero naudlut yun kasi nagka-COVID siya. So, are we expecting AJ Styles to make a comeback over the next couple of SmackDowns for him to give John Cena some backup? Are we expecting LA Knight, or are we expecting a surprise like Randy Orton, who has been reportedly training na at the Performance Center for his comeback? Ikaw, Chino, who do you want to be Cena's partner?
It'd be nice if it was Orton and wrap a little bow around their time in OVW, di ba? Tal bumabalik na din sa news yung OVW. But here's a wild card name that I will throw out there. I think the partner of John Cena might and should be Brock Lesnar. It'd just be such a random thing to happen na people will question it for sure, but before the fact, magpapop pa rin yung crowd and it'll be like a thing that people will wanna watch. So that's a name I'm just gonna throw out there for no logical reason.
All right. My pick for John Cena's tag team partner, si Al Snow, para ma-leverage na yung makapitalize na yung bagong buzz ng OVW. There's an OVW connection there. Cena was an OVW product. No, I'm just playing. I think it's still LA Knight. The COVID thing, you can recover in 7 days, right? Even less.
5 na nga lang.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, Bruce J is staying far away from this entire thing. We'll talk about that on the audio only version. Pero, yeah, he has a whole new world waiting. He's currently in Raw, and that's really great. I think it's LA Knight. It was supposed to be him, and then they just did the whole beat down of AJ Styles thing to create intrigue, which is actually pretty cool. But if LA Knight was around, I think they would have just pulled the trigger on it and let them build the whole story next week. Kasi we're already headed there anyway.
Yeah, LA Knight would have probably come out and signed it himself, diba? Para siya ng rest back ni John Cena. But I think the AJ Styles beatdown is ultimately leading up to him challenging Roman Reigns. Kasi hindi ko alam kung nabasa niyo, pero yung rumors are na si AJ daw yung magiging next challenger ni Roman, probably at Crown Jewel.
Nice. I like that.
I'd like that, yeah. If AJ does end up becoming Cena's partner, then it'll be a nice lead-in to the Roman AJ feud. And then sana hindi nila ulit gawin yung gang war that that I might see happening, like bringing back the Good Brothers for no reason. Sana wag na. But AJ versus Roman, still a draw of a match. So I would love to see that.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Ro.
Yeah, I like AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns. It's nice. I don't think you need to put him in the spot though. Like, tawag dun, you already established the whole thing by having Jimmy and Solo beat up AJ. So, a whole bunch of other things. That's already a built-in way to get there.
Mm-hmm. People in the chat, let us know kung pro LA Knight pa rin kayo, or would you rather have AJ Styles be John Cena's tag team partner? As we say hi to JK, someone we haven't seen in a while, one of our longtime listeners. What's up, champ?
Sir. What up, JK?
Hey.
Let's get some predictions for No Mercy, which is happening on October 1, Manila time. This will be in the morning, 8 a.m. Manila time. So may time kayong manood ng No Mercy. Tapos after that, punta kayo ng Mandala Park for MWF tuloy ang laban. Alright? Yeah. So a full day of wrestling on a Sunday for you. Let's start with the four-way match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Itong sina Tony D at Stax, may pa-dinner pa para sa mga challengers nila. Diba? In-invite pa nila sina Angel and Humberto, the Creed brothers, and OTM out the mud. Para lang sabihin sa kanila na, lahat kayo magiging challengers natin. So, what do you think about the way this was set up, Chino?
It's funny kasi very Italian mafia style.
Yeah, which is the gimmick.
So, yeah, I like how they're doubling down on that. It's a good example for me, a good throwback, a good reference for me, being that I am a fan of those types of movies. As far as the winners are concerned, I like all four of these teams. Kind of secretly wish manalo yung magpinsan, but I kind of secretly wish manalo yung magpinsan, but I kind of also feel that si Tony D and Stax are gonna retain, so I'm gonna save that.
Mm-hmm. Ro?
Yeah, my pick is Los Lotharios. I'm a 205 Live boy, so I've always wanted to see them. I've always wanted to see them succeed. So, but again, they reconnected over their grandfather for nothing. I mean, for something. If they don't win, that will be all for nothing. The project in NXT was always for them to come back stronger, especially after the whole Los Lotharios thing was a Vince thing. So ito na yun. Good. I mean, like, I like Tony D and Stax. I like the D'Angelo family, pero ano na siya, medyo naging holding pattern na siya. The tag team championships are okay to be passed around, especially when the division is kind of deep like this.
Yeah. I just need Angel and Humberto to have a name. Like the Creed brothers, I think, sila yung nagtago sa kanila na Los Primos or something. Like, we could go with that. It means cousins, which they are. Yeah. Or like Los Primos Garza, para you actually have the family name of their legendary grandfather.
The Usos really literally just mean the brothers in Samoan.
Yeah.
I guess. But, at least the Usos, it was passed off as their last name. Ito, we're really calling them cousins, right? Like, they're the cousins.
Jay brother and Jimmy brother.
Isn't that the joke?
It's like having a Filipino tag team called the Kapatids.
I want to take a second to talk about OTM kasi nadidistract ako dun sa Grand Theft Auto style font nung names nila, and then feeling ko medyo hilaw pa yung gimmick, and I don't know how I feel about scripts yet. Parang medyo THC scripts para sa akin eh. So what do you think about OTM?
I love OTM. I love the urban things. You spoke about GTA, so it's because of San Andreas that we learned to love these things. And
oh shit, here we go again.
Made the things today, so I like them. They're huge. They're jacked. They're like urban authors of pain, and they could go far, but Shepard, it's not their time just yet.
It's interesting kasi parang the hip-hop gimmick can only take so many turns before you say you just call them, they're the black team. Diba? Kasi you had the Street Profits, which was a spin-off of things.
Technically, one of them is actually Latino.
Yeah,
diba?
Yeah,
you had the yung Crime Time, which is also a spin-off of this gimmick. So parang medyo hilaw. Tama ka, Stan, when you said medyo wala pa sila doon. It's a little undercooked for me. Na parang inisip na yes, minorities. Let's give them hip-hop music.
No,
it's
not a hip-hop gimmick. It's just really hard knock, low-income inner city minorities. I mean, that's something there. Pero syempre, right now it's still a caricature of that particular personality or that background. And scripts, the thing with scripts is you've seen him do everything. Like you've seen him be a sommelier, you've seen him be a manservant, you've seen him be a masked wrestler, and you've seen him be a poet, and now he is their street manager as well.
Taga-kolekta ng pera pag may tumataya.
Siya yung kublador nila.
Siya yung bookie. All right. Let us know who you think's winning the four-way in the chat as we move on to the Heritage Cup Championship. And this will be fun. Noam Dar versus Butch. It's the return of Pete Dunne to NXT. Butch has to win this one, right? After what he went through in the tournament.
How hilarious is it if Butch wins this and then Becky and Dom retain after this night? Yung mga NXT Championship mo, nasa main roster guys.
So I'm not sure that's a good look or not.
Yeah. Tama naman. It's a good point that you raised. But then again,
Yeah.
nung tinawag naman yun, when they called up these people, it was clearly not a Triple H decision, di ba? Na
Yeah.
si Vince lang yung nag-pluck nitong mga to eh. To fill his roster out. And then, hindi sila nagamit na mabuti. And then we have all these issues that started happening over the past few months. So now, yes, it's sad that NXT kind of got stripped with its titles. But at the same time, it's not like Butch and Becky and Dom are undeserving. Diba? So,
Yeah.
they can,
That's the
again,
thing,
like you
yeah.
said at the top of the show, they can just split time between the main roster and this.
Yeah. I like No Wonder. I highly enjoyed the metaphor. I think they've become really entertaining acts.
Yep.
And really entertaining acts. No, they found the thing that they transcended from random collection of Noam Dar's black friends. And they became really funny. So, I enjoy Noam Dar, and I think deserve niya mag-retain. I know they had that little hiccup where Nathan Fraser was, and Tyler Bate were secretly the interim champions or the real champions, and then Noam Dar was the interim champion. I don't think Butch needs a win here. I think the whole performance noong tournament was good enough. I feel like since the metaphor are outnumbering Butch and whoever. I don't know if he's gonna bring Ridge Holland or Sheamus to this match. I think that's gonna be the way for Noam Dar to retain.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Chino, what do you think?
No, I said Butch. Ako Butch.
Okay. All right. Sige. Let's get to this next one. Ito, people were asking for Dominic Mysterio's challenger. It is Trick Williams after he won a fatal 4-way to be Dominic's #1 contender for the North American Championship. And you have a Wild Dragon Lee who is the special guest referee. So obviously biased ito against Dominic Mysterio. So does Dom finally lose his championship here?
Literally the Mr. C role here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kasi I think the whole Dominic Mysterio as North American champ thing has grown on me. Parang, nung una, gusto ko pa siya matalo eh. Pero ngayon, parang okay na. Pero, should have been Dragon Lee, I think. I don't know if Trick is ready for this. I think there are still some legs to go here with this title run for Dom. So I'm going to say na mag-retain muna siya. I don't know how they get to it. I think Dragon Lee calls it down the middle and counts it fairly because I don't think he's going to be the type to slow count Dom, diba? He's honorable like that. So I think that's the way.
Yeah, ako din. I think if Dom drops it to anybody, it'll be to Dragon Lee. So I don't know. Again, I'm with Ro here. Hindi ko na alam kung paano mananalo si Dom. But if he does drop the North American Championship to anybody, it'll be to Dragon Lee. So I'm sorry, Trick.
Etong si Mac, sabi niya in the comments that Dom's last match was his best yet. I think he's referring to Dom versus Dragon Lee from Monday Night Raw. So, Ro, in your Raw review, sabi mo na Dragon Lee is probably getting called up sooner than later. So, what made you say that?
Well, because he is a legit indie star. It's one of those things that, okay, you gotta... there's an Ilya Dragunov, and then syempre, there are others like him. There's a Tyler Bate and as well. Pero it's one of those things that you either shit or get off the pot. Diba? So Triple H made a big deal about this signing. I guess Shawn Michaels did. Then you trot him out in front of a Raw crowd. They responded well. Dragon Lee executed smoothly. Walang palya. Walang nervousness at all. Like, he was made for this. He was made for that main roster running. He really has the Rey Mysterio rub, and now the Dominic Mysterio rub, and now the Ontario, California rub. So I think that's it. I think he passed the test. He passed the audition. And because there's a rotating cast of characters anyway, he's bound to come up sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Chino, do you think he's main roster ready?
Yeah, but then at the same time, parang andali lang din niya mawala sa shuffle if he does get called up. So his staying power for me might come into question if he's able to, find his spot as easily, creatively, or however. Because the main roster is pretty stacked as it is.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see him on the main roster. Pero whether he it's the right time to call him up is another question.
Let's see if he can actually live up to the billing of being the next Rey Mysterio, or else magagalit na naman si Rowan kasi sabi ni Rowan, the next Rey Mysterio is still Rey Mysterio. So gigi
No,
si
he was
Rowan.
he was complaining na ano. Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Yeah. Say what's up to Awi. Good evening, man. Thank you for joining us. All right,
Hey,
next
Awi.
up. Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. Who's the good guy here? Who am I supposed to root for? I mean, I get it. Two badasses going at each other. It's fun to watch. Pero walang babyface dito eh.
Yeah, it's just entertaining kasi, Braun is suddenly a violent badass. I think the babyface by default is Corbin kasi
really?
I get no by default. Not saying,
Ako din
not saying he is literally technically, but by default lang. De facto babyface kasi he was the more easygoing. Siya yung parang MJF here where he was a dick, but he was an entertaining dick about it. And then Braun is just really mad. So I think Baron here is in rebuilding mode for the kids. So I don't think there's a way Braun loses. I think that they're giving him side quests before he gets the eventual call up to main roster. So yun. This guy crushed who was it again?
Von Wagner.
Von Wagner, yeah, Von Wagner's head with the steel steps. So if he loses to Baron Corbin, di ko alam kung bakit mangyayari.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like heel Braun. I'm not gonna bet against him, so I'm gonna say Braun as well.
Yeah, heel Braun's a straight up murderer. Murderer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's get to our main events. First off, the women's championship match between Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton. If you guys can spare like 30 minutes to go listen to Tiffany Stratton's interview on the Masked Man show, you should. It's really fun. Nakakatawa rin yung mga sinasabi ni Tiffany, like how for her Nickelback is heavy metal, but that's a Tiffany thing. And if you know, you know. But going back to this match, Chino, who are you putting your money on? Does Bex retain or does Tiffany regain her championship?
I want Becky Lynch to drop the title again. Let's pad Tiffany Stratton's numbers up before she does get called up. I never thought that Becky Lynch needed the championship anyway. It was a nice thing to have because she's never held it. So to make her the honorary Triple Crown, diba, legitimate, bigay na natin sa kanya. But I don't think she's able to do anything with it. So, if Tiffany Stratton does get a second championship win, mas magandang tignan sa pag-call up niya yun eh. Kasi you get somebody who's been able to best Becky Lynch, the man, diba? The winner of the first all-women's main event at WrestleMania. So, that's still something for such an upstart like Tiffany Stratton.
Mm-hmm.
This is a no DQ match, diba?
Yeah,
Becky asked for a no DQ match. Yeah, Extreme Rules. So, Chino's right. Becky doesn't need this. It was just a nice thing to add to her resume and to complete in Grand Slam. So, okay na to. The Extreme Rules stipulation was made for Tiffany to have a legit reason to be able to pin Becky clean. Bruce asks if Tiffany wins, what happens next? Well, Tegan Nox gets next, diba? That's a girl who also needed some time in NXT, but injuries derailed all that. Tapos you got kids like Natalia, in line for that. But no. Natalia has a pending feud with Becky waiting there. So maraming ganap. They actually planned this out. I think there is some intention behind this booking, and it's time to get back to Tiffany Stratton.
All right. And let's close things out with the NXT Championship match. It's Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov. Does the Mad Dragon finally take the title at No Mercy?
Yeah, God, he's been chasing this for so long. Naka-detour pa nga siya with Trick Williams in a really nice match. So if you don't pull the trigger on this, it's either you ship him out to the main roster already or do, I don't know, let him go. Like I said, what else is he going to do here?
Actually, yeah. But then at the same time, parang nakikita ko na matatalo pa rin siya eh. Like, I know he's been after it for a long time, but then I can also see a reality where he doesn't win it at all. Because hindi ko alam kung meron ng NXT UK and NXT champion na nanalo sila at the same time or they've won both titles. So, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's enough of a reason, but I do know that they are still hot on Melo. So Melo retaining might be more plausible for me.
Yeah, to answer your question, Chino, nobody has won both the NXT and NXT UK championships. So that hasn't happened. But, just the image of Ilya Dragunov at his most insane after doing the things he does to get in that extreme mindset and then to still lose to Carmelo Hayes, who is always just so cool. Parang hindi ko siya ma-imagine. Like, how can this guy lose after everything he puts himself through?
Tsaka, I'm also kind of done with the Carmelo Hayes reign. Parang it's been in place. Like, we know the move is for Melo versus Trick. I think that's the one last thing Melo has to do before going up to the main roster. Like, okay, he won the NXT championship. I'm okay with this. It isn't quite as it's even not as compelling as whatever Trick is going through. Kasi yung arc niya to being more than Melo's best friend / sidekick was a lot more entertaining than whatever Melo was doing while he's champ. Diba?
Yeah, it's one of those rare times where Melo being the NXT champion kind of just got corny agad, no?
Exactly.
I think it's also the peril of the babyface champion, which is why as I've gotten older, I kind of like seeing babyface champions have short reigns. Kasi wala parang after 1 or 2 defenses, okay, you're strong, you're a fighting champ, then what? I don't know, that's just me.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't know what else they could have done to make this more entertaining, other than siguro gawa ka ng character study or a character arc for Melo, but they weren't interested in that. They were busy fleshing out Trick as they should, and Ilya as they should, because Ilya is again on this mad chase like he was in NXT UK versus Walter. So sayang na pag-iwanan din si Carmelo.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on Sunday, Manila time, for NXT No Mercy. Again, if you want to be part of our watch party, just go to patreon.com/wrestling podcast. As early as 8 a.m. nakatoka na kami for that watch party.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take one more break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about Adam Cole. Man, this guy cannot catch a break. Whoops. We'll get back to you after this quick word from Marca Podcasts on the Pod Network. All right, before we talk about Adam Cole, si Maki's asking about the watch party for No Mercy this weekend.
Yeah, hindi yata nabutan ni Mac yung spiel kanina. Just please sign up to, subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/wrestling podcast. When you do that, you get a link to our Discord server, and we will stream the event doon sa voice channel niya, where you can, watch video as well, streaming video as well. So, it's that easy. It's that easy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Adam Cole, injured again. Apparently, he needed surgery after jumping from yung stage ng Dynamite Grand Slam onto the floor. Holy crap. The dude broke his ankle in 3 places. So now MJF has to wrestle against the Righteous by himself at Wrestle Dream. Who should we blame here?
It's the fucking design. It's the ramp. I told a story on my podcast, pero I did a jump to the outside from the top rope, and it was a hard concrete basketball court floor, and I sprained my foot. And then this is almost exactly what happened to Adam Cole, because he had to jump from the elevated stage ramp on Dynamite Grand Slam last week, and then he landed as one does on his foot, and then yung floor kasi sa ringside, yung mats niya napakanipis. So if you don't have the proper footwear and support, and this guy loves wearing Jordan 1s, which is super low to the ground and makapal, sobrang tigas ng sole niya, talagang something would happen. And the ramp's fault, but the guy who put the ramp there and thought it would be a nice idea to have an elevated ramp, that's whose fault it is. Because nobody needed an elevated ramp, because Adam Cole had to jump down from the ramp to the ringside. And if he didn't have to do that, then he wouldn't have broken his ankle.
Ikaw, Chino, any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, na-cover ni Ro, mas alam niya kung paano nag-work yung mechanics niya.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's also the ramp's fault, but then at the same time, or the production designer.
Yeah.
Fine, let's just specify the person. Yeah, the production designer's fault for not being as aware of wrestling requirements as one should be when working in a wrestling company. Imagine that. Pero,
Would you say that this is a case of amateur hour again?
No, it's not amateur hour. They have an elevated ramp sa AAA or CMLL.
Yeah.
They have an elevated ramp sa NJPW. They do that. It's just one of those things na nobody thought of it until it happened. Like, kasi normally when you have the ramp, you just walk to the ring on it and then you get in between the ropes while elevated. Nobody ever thought, na, okay, something could happen if you have to jump to ringside and land on your feet, diba? Wala. Now I hope that they learned their lesson and not do that anymore, diba? Not have the
don't
ramp.
F around and find out.
Yeah. I think they had that kasi may LED yung diba? Yung floor, yung ramp. So now you know that to avoid further injuries, you just don't do that. I think maybe WWE figured that out for themselves somewhere down the line.
That's why you don't use elevated ramps. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Will says this. He feels that this is a work. I don't think you would sideline one of your most over acts on the roster for a big show like Wrestle Dream. So that would be counterproductive, even though that's nice because I'm sure they had a timeline of things they wanted to do with Adam Cole healthy. They already teased the heel turn in this segment in my background. Diba? So maraming ganap that honestly is derailed by this whole thing.
Yeah, di lang ganap ng AEW. Adam Cole took a booking sa DPW, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, where he's supposed to face this YouTuber, Chris Danger. And even that had to get postponed because of Adam Cole's injury. So if all of those got posted, plus si Britt, as Emil points out, nag-post pa ng picture of yung swollen and broken ankle and the x-ray ni Adam Cole. Which is kind of kadiri pa rin kahit na x-ray lang siya, di ba? You can kind of tell that it's not a work.
I mean, I have gout right now. It's not a broken ankle, but it hurts. So imagine a broken ankle.
Oof. You always have
that sucks, man.
It's also in bad taste to assume these things are works. Yeah, it's normal in the business, pero can we stop assuming things are... I mean, let's stop assuming things are works when it's not obvious that there works, like compared to the Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax thing that happened a couple of weeks ago, people are taking Nia to task about that kasi there's even a Stevie Richards video that breaks it down, yung banzai drop ni Nia Jax on Rhea Ripley, and then that was obviously meant to be a work. I mean, when they announced right after that Rhea is injured, that was obviously meant to be a work. Kasi now there are rumors that said na confirming the storyline na Rhea is just outselling the injury. So yung mga ganun, when it's directly tied to the storyline and what happens in the ring or on your screen, that's when you can assume it's a work. But if this guy just jumped down and now he's limping, then that wasn't supposed to happen. Kasi why would that happen in this particular segment where he did something with diba? With Samoa Joe.
With Joe.
Yeah, so that.
Saka kita mo hirap na hirap siya kanina nung Dynamite to just get in the ring.
Yeah.
Umupo siya sa apron, tapos gumulong pa siya papasok, and then he had a hard time getting up on the crutches that the camera had to cut away to a zoom.
Yeah, I was surprised na nagawa niya, to be honest, on one leg.
So you gotta contextualize these things, and when you assume, you have to make it make sense. Then,
yeah. I was gonna. Oh, there. I remember now. AEW ended really weird today with a beatdown on Jay White. So Jay White was called Tofu by MJF. Right? So to put context here, sinabi ni MJF na sobrang bland ni Jay White na he's not interesting if he's not paired with a more interesting na dance partner or whatever. Cut to the ending of Dynamite after the Hangman Swerve contract signing, Jay White gets beaten down by 4 masked dudes, and then there's a 5th na hindi kasama sa beatdown but he's wearing the MJF devil mask. Do we know who that person is? Are we gonna assume that's MJF na sobrang nabwisit kay Jay White? Or people are saying it's Adam Cole, although obviously because of the injury, how could it be Adam Cole?
Yeah, that's a weird take. Why is it Adam Cole? Even if you assume that even if you project that it's a setup. No, it's a setup for him to reveal himself much later. That doesn't make sense. If it was Adam Cole, then he would be hobbling.
Your guy.
I don't know who it is. Glendale has a nice theory that it's Roddy. That's
Hindi siya naka-neck
interesting.
brace, naka-turtleneck siya. Like MJF would be.
Yeah. Obviously, it's someone trying to frame MJF, but I don't know who it would be, and now I'm kind of intrigued as to who it is. So I'll let that play out.
Yeah, it was interesting. Nung nakita ko yun, it was interesting kasi I also took a double take when I saw the mask. Parang, teka, di ba yan yung mask ni MJF? So was it MJF? I don't think they'll ruin MJF's goodwill with the people right now by putting him in that spot. So clearly somebody's trying to frame MJF. Now that Steve Glendale mentioned it, Roderick Strong is a good suspect.
To make MJF look bad, di ba?
To make MJF look bad. Magpa-play up again yung drama with Adam Cole. So it's probably him. If it's not him, then I don't know who.
Ina says she's a fan of cliffhangers. They did a Chiron fake out for this show. Can't believe they copied Triple H.
Ano mas gusto yung cliffhanger? Yung mga ginagawa ni Triple H at ginawa ng AEW, or Jack Spade never having the resolution kung paralyzed ba siya forever?
God damn. Well, this one they're gonna finish this story. Heels will never get to finish their story.
Well, that's also true. So let's see if our favorite neck health awareness advocate is indeed the man behind the mask. All right, as we wind down here, let's get to some plugs and promos. Ikaw, Chino, anything coming up?
Yes, Comedy Manila's largest comedy festival ever, Joktoberfest, is happening October 14 to the 22nd. That is 9 days, of incredible stand-up comedy. 18 shows in 9 days all over the metro. Punta lang kayo sa comedymanila.ph for information about all those shows. Also, the Clashdown podcast is back. I'm putting out my first episode, a live in-person recording with Professor Xiao Chua, whom Stan got to meet.
Nice.
When we recorded. So, just all that and more on my Linktree, linktr.ee/Chino Supersized. Also, a very happy birthday to an incredibly important person in my life. Happy birthday, Kathy Kelly.
Happy birthday, Kathy Kelly.
We're greeting people. Happy birthday to friend of the podcast and Filipino-Australian wrestler and Renegades of Wrestling women's champion, Aisha, celebrating her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Aisha. All right, Ro, any plugs?
Wala naman. Unmasked is still on hiatus, but if you are a new listener of this podcast, you can go check out my podcast. It's called Unmasked, The Chronicles of Romaran and Sandata. I talk about my career there. We're still on hold, but there are 12 episodes to get through, and enjoy if you're looking for something else to listen to. That's it for now.
All right, Bruce. Wag naman. Don't be such a wet blanket on Chino's comedy festival. You are enough, Bruce. Mahal ka namin dito.
We know worse jokes than you, man. Our vice president.
Yes. Bruce, your wrestling podcast family is proud of you. Okay.
Oh.
For me, couple plugs here. Of course, MWF tuloy ang laban on Sunday. Go catch that. October 1, 4 p.m. sa Mandala Park, Shaw Boulevard. Tickets are still available at the gate or at tickettome.net. Of course, there's the TV show, MWF Action Novela TV, where I dropped some zingers this past week. Spoken like a true Gen Z. Yes. Go catch that on Rock of Manila. And if you caught Wrestlers on Netflix and you need someone to process all 7 episodes with, I recorded an episode on post-show recaps alongside Grace Leader, where we break down our big thoughts coming out of Wrestlers and the way that they portrayed OVW. So catch that on the feed of post-show recaps and just search for Wrestlers on Netflix.
May isa pa tayo.
Yeah.
If you prefer to watch your MWF content without ads without TV commercials, there are also full episodes now on YouTube, another Wrestling Federation's YouTube page. Just go search MWF Action Novela. Road to Fate episodes 1, pre-show and episode 1, I think, and 2 as well. Are on YouTube info.
Yes, they are. Miguel, the meet and greet is still on this Saturday sa Century Mall. MWF will be part of that. June Lovejoy will also be part of that.
Yeah.
I believe she is the main attraction. So go catch June Lovejoy and your favorite MWF stars at Century Mall this weekend. Ano lang, pasintabi lang, please be polite. Don't be a creep. Be respectful, all right? It's
Ano
okay
yun,
to go meet your favorite JAV/cosplay stars, but don't be a creep.
You could come, but please also do consider buying merch para hindi jahe, diba? Para support them to our friends.
Yeah, may mga checkies sila, and if you've been exposed to checkies, they're like the cards or the Polaroids which they can sign. So at the very least, get that. Yes, Bruce, meron nun.
Yes, Bruce, meron.
Yes. I'm not sure if you're messing around, but GMG na lang. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got the audio only coming up on this feed as well. It should be out probably by tomorrow. We'll talk about Jey Uso and his adventures on Raw, the Brian Pillman Jr. teaser, and we'll also be predicting Wrestle Dream. So we'll give you our thoughts on those in the audio only episode. But for now, we got to get out of here. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us here on the Wrestling Podcast live stream. Thank you very much to babyface producer Jasper at the controls and everyone over at the Pod Network for all of the work that they do behind the scenes. Follow the show at Wrestling Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, at Wrestling2XPod on Twitter and on TikTok, and individually, it is at Chino Supersized, at Rowiswar, at EML_Meister, at Monday Night Rowan, and at _Stan C. On behalf of Ro Moran and Chino Liao, my name is Stan, saying stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast, out. Bye-bye.
Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity,